The ultimate skills test was going to be a big challenge, Robin, and Chloe's scores are 18.5. That's down quite a bit on last week. It was 22. So how are you scoring this?
The scoring tonight has nothing in comparison to what we've been doing for the past few weeks. There are up to 6 points available for the skills only, which means the performance is only out of 4. So up to 2 points, not 2 points per, up to 2. So anywhere from 0 to 2. So for me, I gave you 1 for each, the steps, the footwork, and the spin. The spin was actually the strongest for me of the 3. Good speed on the footwork, but the feet didn't quite go where they were supposed to go on cross behinds on the mohawks. You know we've said that in the past. But I think for me, what was nice was the 3 elements were part of the overall performance, and you didn't lose the performance because you were concentrating too much on the rest.
Okay, thank you. Emma, better score from you?
Yeah, well, I gave you 1.5 for each skill, and the reason for this, I love the fact that you do not shy away from difficulty in your routines. And also, I still felt you really held your performance. There was, again, you said it, I think, that tiny bit of nervousness tonight, which probably took it away a little bit. But for me, I just praise the fact that you push it every week. You don't shy away from anything. Well done.
Thank you, Emma. And Jason?
Well, interestingly enough, I mean, I thought that the step sequence was in unison. It was very good. 1.5 I gave you for that. The jump was a good attempt. However, I would have liked more elevation in it from the ice, so I gave you a 1 for that. The spin was, again, a very good attempt, so 1.5. Your overall performance, however, I didn't feel that you were fully committing to the nuances, especially with the arms as being a little bird. It kind of looked a little grotesque. So what I want you to do is really commit to those little subtleties in the choreography, because I feel that part of you was losing the performance because you are wanting to be technically brilliant. I want Chloe to come back and give me the personality.
Okay, thank you very much, judges. So, Jason, let's come to you first of all. Shame there wasn't an ultimate skills in the lift, because he did that very well.
And that's the problem, and I think, you know, thank you, Chris, for pointing that out, that we are really focusing on your skills. That said, I thought that your steps and your jumps were quite fair. You know, you got through them. It's still a little bit of the presentation. The overall presentation was missing for me. And the spin, again, as you know, you only got half a revolution, and we are looking for two spins. But without question, you have improved, and I do applaud you for putting in the lift, because it means that you are upping your ante, and that's what we need to see you doing. So well done.
Thank you, Jason. Robin?
Absolutely. Can I echo what Jason's saying, and it's been a slow, methodical process for you, and if that's how you work, it's starting to pay off. The lift is good, great to see finally up on the shoulder and commanding and in control. The steps, quite nice, executed well, but very simple. The jump, I gave you 1.5 because you did 2. They weren't great, but they had nice flow on the exit. But again, like Jason, the spin only 1 rotation, so only 0.5 for that.
Okay, Emma, let's come to you, please.
I think you seem to be so much more comfortable now performing in front of an audience, and I think that always makes us feel more comfortable, and we're enjoying it more. Again, you know, the steps I gave you a 1, the jumps, because you did 2 brilliant jumps to me, I thought they were great, was 1.5, and your spin, again, as they said, you didn't do 2 rotations, so I only gave you a 0.5 for that.
Thank you very much. We've been saying all night the scores might be slightly lower, but that didn't seem to affect Laura at all, did it, Robin?
It can go as wrong as much as you like, and it should. That's what practice is for, so that you know what you need to do and step it up as you did tonight in the performance. It was fantastic. I have to say, if you're going to put the lift up, it's not so much the lift, it's how it's going to come down, and that was very clunky for me, but that's not part of the skills test. A 2 for the steps, because not only were you in the moment doing the movement, but it was in the time with the music. The same with the spin. 2 for the spin, 1.5 for the jump. Would like a bit more body position in the air. Great performance.
Almost full marks for her skills.
Almost full marks.
Thank you, Emma.
It was. Almost full marks for me as well. 2 for the steps. I thought you were so in sync. It was amazing. The jump, 1.5, because I would have liked a little bit more height. And the spin, a 2. I couldn't fault that. But I just thought I wanted you to relax, and I could feel those nerves. But you are an unbelievable performer, and I love watching you. It was so intense tonight. I felt part of the dance.
Okay, thank you. Jason?
Well, for me, Laura, you know I'm a huge fan, and tonight is no exception. I gave you 2 across the board for all your skills, because I felt, and I tell you why, because unlike any of the others that we've seen thus far, You just seemed to flow through all of it. There was no sort of setup. It wasn't contrived that now I'm going into my ultimate skills. It just flowed beautifully and there was great musicality. The only thing for me was the lift. As Robin said, it was heavy on the dismount.
Okay, something you don't see that often. Full marks from Jason. Thank you, judges. Let's come to Emma. Emma, most unlike you, particularly when it comes to Jeff.
I know, because I adore Jeff, and I do think you're a bit of a dark horse for us, and I think if you keep working this hard, you will make this competition very interesting. I gave you ones for everything because I just thought, just to attempt all those things you did is amazing. On the step sequence, so you messed up a little bit on your jumps as well, you caught your footing. So, but I just think to attempt those is incredible. And the performance lacked because of that, because you were thinking, and I'm looking at performance obviously, and I just didn't see that gorgeous face of yours this week. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I think we're all sorry. Jason, let's come to you.
Well, Jeff, there's no question that you have improved, and definitely, we are seeing that. However, I gave you ones across the board for all your skills because for me, it was, you were putting in a lot of effort, but it was very messy. So everything was sort of misplaced for me and we lacked the presentation and the showmanship that I know that you can give. You've now got to marry the two together.
Okay, and Robin, were you ones across the board as well?
I was ones across the board for much the same reason as Jason and Emma. And what I will say is that you're in the difficult position where you have such great potential, you're being pushed and you've been given one of the most difficult jump combinations that we're going to see tonight, but it didn't quite work. The step sequence was very difficult, but it didn't quite work. You did a really good spin, but the end didn't work. It's just finishing off the finite detail that will put you as a contender.
Thank you very much. Let's go, Robin, on skills night. She really pulled it off, didn't she?
You really did. And as an overall performance, and again, yes, the word serenity is written down in my notes. It just had a really natural calmness about it. If you were feeling that nerves and the tension, it wasn't necessarily showing out front until we got to the spin. I actually gave you a 1.5 for the jump. I thought that was really nice, flowing, running. 1 for the steps, simple, but again, clean and nicely done, but just a 0.5 for the spin.
Okay, Jason, you've been waiting for Denise to give a performance like this, so you must be happy.
I am incredibly proud of you because tonight it is about what you can do. And I think what you have proven is my point. It's quality over quantity. You did exactly what was required. Okay, the spin wasn't great. I gave you a 0.5 for that. But for your jump and your step sequence, I gave you a 1.5 each for those because there was a really lovely, sincere quality that was very controlled and assured now in your performance over the ice.
Thank you very much. Emma?
Thank you. Yeah, I think keeping it simple was the best way for you because then you're able to perform and you kept it, again, really serene and quite sophisticated.
Which is hard for me, Emma Bunton. Thank you very much.
Don't ever do that again. I'm not sure I can cope. Oh, okay. Jason, apart from the headbanger, we're obviously looking at the skills. How were the skills?
Okay, well, for me, the jump and the spin, I gave you a 1.5 over that because obviously there was real difficulty. People, it's out of 2. That's excellent. 1.5. I mean, get a grip. Now, the step sequence, I did give you a 2 for it because, again, it was, I thought it was great. It had great flow. But the thing is, Sam, you are a great showman. But tonight, I saw your thought process going on throughout the performance. It was holding you back. And there were synchronicity issues, which I'm banging on about every week, and you're not improving them. And tonight, it was 2 individuals skating and not a partnership.
Okay, Robin?
I'm going to agree with Jason on that. There were moments when you were skating at the same steps, but at slightly different times. When you look back at the VT, it's about having that synchronicity. Having said that, you have a very difficult routine. I gave you 2 for the step sequence. I gave you 1.5 for the spin because it didn't quite work as you wanted. I gave you credit and I gave you 2 for the jumps. Even though the loop jump wasn't quite right, you did the others that were flowing and were wonderful. Overall, it's great to see you pushing yourself at this level. But you are so focused on your own skating, you sometimes forget Brianne is there with you side by side. And when you're not hand in hand, that's really difficult to do. That's where I think you really want to focus on now.
Okay, let's go to Emma.
I gave you 2s throughout. I can't actually believe I'm watching someone who's not a professional. I love watching you. You're a great performer. It's like coming to a show every week. And, you know, these two obviously are going to be looking at, but I just really enjoy watching you. And even though you had all of those skills to focus on, you still gave me a performance. Well done, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you. This is her lowest mark of the competition so far, so what did you make of that?
Well, I mean, what tonight proves, Kerry, is that unequivocally your skating ability is clearly on the endangered species list because it's virtually extinct. I mean, the thing is, you've been skating now for 3 months, and I have to question what it is that you've been doing all this time.
Laughing.
And I fear
I've been having lots and lots of laughing.
that what you've done is that you've given up on yourself, and that's a real shame because, you know, you started off so well, and I've seen you slowly decline because you've lost belief in yourself. And I just hope now that people are going to vote to put people through on their ability and merit.
Okay, Robin, let's come to you, please.
Yeah, it's been a tough struggle for you, which you have admitted, and it almost feels in the past couple of weeks you've given in to that rather than really just go for it and push yourself through. Having said that, the performance last week and the performance level this week actually went up a couple of notches. It is the fact that the skating doesn't really exist, and I couldn't give you anything for the spin, and just 0.5 for the jump and 0.5 for the footwork.
Okay, Emma?
I gave you 0.5 for everything because I like the fact, obviously, that you are attempting these things. But I was quite surprised that you felt quite relaxed tonight. And I thought after being in the bottom 2 last week, you would come out here, guns blazing, really going for it. But you didn't, so I feel like in your head, you're already on that plane.
Okay, well, let's go to... My life is now complete. Robin, what did you make of that?
That was the best overall performance of the night, and it was a great way to finish off.
Yeah!
I have to say, the steps lost it a little bit for me because there weren't that many steps in there. Great upper body, great movement, great control, great everything else, but needed a bit more with the footwork. Spin was solid, and the jump were very nice.
Emma, quick word?
Oh, I missed out on 0.5. I was supposed to be 7.5 too because I know this is about skating ability, but for me, your performance, you can tell that you've performed to thousands of people all over the world. It got me excited. I want to buy a ticket. I'm a huge fan all over again.
Okay, and Jason, finally from you, very quickly.
Well, tonight what it proved is that you can ice skating as well, Rob. It was a great performance. It played to your strengths. I expected it to because it was your song. For me, I gave you 1 for the step sequence. Again, it just lacked a little bit of content for me. The jump 1.5, which was excellent. And the spin, I gave you a 2.
Very good. And also, Emma, just to let you know, we've corrected the score now. It's a 22.5, so your 0.5 now does count.
There you go. You scored. Okay, this is it. Jeff and Kerry have performed again for the judges. One of them will stay in the competition. One of them will be leaving tonight. It is decision time. Judges, I'm going to ask you one by one the name of the skating star you want to save and see perform again next week. Emma.
Kerry, you can go on your holidays. Jeff, brilliant performance, that last one. I'm saving Jeff.
1 to Jeff. Robin.
What turned out to be one of the best performances of the night, I save Jeff.
2 votes to Jeff, so we can see what's happened here. But let's hear from Jason.
Ultimate skills test. Jeff, you stepped up. You're the man. You deserve to stay. Kerry, happy holidays.
With 3 votes, it's a clean sweep. Jeff skates next week.